Hey, boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of the Ron Bass Show, your source for inspiration, encouragement, motivation, hopefully a way to help you to become a little more ambitious in your life and move forward. Over here, joining me today, as always, Mr. Brent Atterbury, our marketing guru, Mr. Executive Producer. That's a big title.
Howdy.
How'd you earn that title? That's a big title.
It is.
With a real small salary.
I think we made it up. Yeah.
If you guys knew what I paid this guy to help me with this, you wouldn't believe it. Talk about a gracious guy. Been a good friend for a long time. It's hard to find good friends. We talk about that a lot in the podcast, how to surround yourself with the right kind of people. And it's tough, man. And the world's getting tougher all the time. That's why you got to have really thick skin. I was talking to my friend at the gym today who's a black belt in the Jiu Jitsu community. And this guy's got like 8 kids. He's got like 150 students in his school.
Wow.
He also works on MMA fights where he does like the corner where he wraps the hands and helps coach. And so he's busy, like super. And he works out at the gym every day and does jujitsu every day and yada. And we were talking and I could see he was stressed out this morning. And I said, look, man, here's the deal. We would have to be naive to not think that every day we're going to get hit with challenges. And I mean a lot of challenges. And I mean all day long, particularly when you're ambitious and you're really trying to get ahead in life. You're going to get hit with all kinds of challenges. But the secret is to be not naive to think that that won't happen, to recognize that's going to be the case, to get a good night's rest, practice good nutrition and work out. Because when you work out, guys, you're just going to feel better physically and mentally. So you can look at it a lot of different ways, like, I want to look more attractive, so I'm going to work out and be more muscular and all that. That's cool. But really, the bottom line of working out is if you have energy and your brain's working good and your body is functioning well, you're going to be able to handle whatever comes your way. I'm not saying 100% of the time and it's going to be perfect, but you're at least going to have the wherewithal to deal with it. And even if it's a real bad thing going on, you're probably at least going to be able to stay with it. And then hopefully, as the day progresses and you get through the day, get a good night's rest, the next morning you're going to feel good, you're going to be able to fight again. And that's just the way it is, guys. Life is just going to be full of challenges. In my friend's case, that he said now his older children are beginning to give him a lot of problems. And I said, well, when I was a teenager, I gave my parents a lot of trouble. So I said, hey, man, for you, turnabout's fair play. I'm sure you gave your parents a hard time. And he goes, yeah, well, that's the way it works, man. What goes around comes around. And, we were teasing each other and laughing about it. But when I got ready to leave the gym, he looked at me and he says, man, I really appreciate what you said because that really helped me today. And I say that to say this. Brent brought up a good point earlier. The old Jewish saying, to help one person is as if to have helped the whole world. You never really know who you're going to be helping during the course of during the course of a day. You never know what life you might be touching in a way that's going to be so helpful. And they may not even say anything. They may just take in what you're suggesting and apply it, and their whole world could be changed in a positive way. So it's really important to be around the right kind of people, to become, I have students in my gym. I have a kids class. We had a kids class last night. And this young little girl, she can't be more than 6 or 7, but she's been doing competitions already. She's very talented. And last night I had a new student come in and I asked her, I said, hey, would you go please talk to that student and say hi and introduce yourself? And she says, oh, Ron, I don't want to do that. I don't like to do that. I thought about that. So later on in the evening, when class was over, I called her into my office. And here she's like a 7-year-old girl, right? And I'm like her great-grandfather, basically. And I said, listen, you got to understand something. You're an advanced student. You're very talented, and you now have leadership. You're in a leadership role. And I want you to remember that, because even if you're not comfortable introducing yourself to people, it's your responsibility now, because you're in a leadership position. You've earned that rank. And when people come in the gym that are new, they're not comfortable. It's a new environment. They're scared. Anyway, probably their parents have probably made them come in and they don't know what to expect. I want you to walk up to them, introduce yourself, and help them to feel comfortable. So that can apply not just in jiu-jitsu, guys. That can apply to everyday life. You may see somebody at the gym or at the store or at your work, particularly maybe at work, and they're struggling. And you can see it in her eyes. You just know. I had a friend of mine at the gym today. I could see it in her eyes. She was stressed out. And I thought about just leaving the gym and not saying anything. And no, I'm going to walk up to her. Hi, how are you? Oh, I said, I can see it in your eyes. She says, well, this and that, whatever. I said, look, man, here's the deal. It's going to be tough some days. That's why we're in the gym, right? And she goes, yeah, you're right. And she said, I'm going to get through this. And I said, you know what? There's days I don't want to go to the gym, but I have to talk myself into it. Ron, you got to go to the gym. I don't want to go. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go, because the reward is a lot greater feeling than the uncomfortableness to go to the gym. And you have to remind yourself of that. Okay. That was kind of all unscripted there, guys. I just had some stuff on my head there. Go ahead, Brent.
It's good to know that you talk to yourself. Do you answer yourself?
That makes you wonder, doesn't it? There is an old saying like that. Hey, do you, I know you talk to you, but do you answer yourself? You know, it's really funny. I spend a lot of time by myself, and I do talk out loud to myself. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but it seems to help me. And then I'll write notes, because otherwise I might forget. When you get old, you forget a lot, guys. The brain shrinks, and it's harder to learn as you get older. It's the way it is. That's just aging. That's just aging. So the only way to counter that is to exercise. Well, I made a note here about an old friend of mine. His name was Isaac Jenkins. He was a great friend of mine. He was a preacher. And I might have told this story before, but when my mother was dying, he promised her that he would look after me. And for probably 20 or 30 years, he would come to my office every single day, and he would read scripture to me, and he would counsel me, and he would visit with me. And he was just dedicated to me. He kept his word to my mother. And he used to say this line. He said, the whole world's crazy, and I'm crazy too. And I've never forgot that line. But if you really think about it, it almost takes one to know one. You know, it is a crazy world, but if you're a little bit crazy too, it's just easier to get along in this world, right? Because you can relate to more people, and you don't feel so all alone, maybe, because you know other people are probably going through a lot of the same stuff you're going through. And my mother had some great sayings. She used to say to me, you know, if somebody's going to tell you how to live your life, honey, then they should be paying your bills. So I'm kind of coming around to some other thoughts here that, you know, people tend to be very pushy and tell you this and tell you that, and you should do this and you should do that. But the reality is, unless you're asking for advice, people don't need to be pushing things down your throat. Now, here we do the podcast where I'm just trying to express myself and give you some words of wisdom based on my own life's experiences. But that's up to you guys. You don't have to accept my words of wisdom. It's strictly up to you. But from my experience, based on my experiences, I try to share things with you that I think probably is going to work more than not. Nothing is perfect, but I've been through enough struggles in my life that when I share things with you, you can be rest assured that it's something that's been proven to me that works, whatever the subject is that we're talking about. So when somebody's trying to be real pushy with you, probably need to back off a little bit. You know, they're probably not the right. I mean, they might mean well, but look, you got to make your own decisions. You got to live your own life the way you want to live it. But if you'll follow the rules of psychology, you'll find that things are pretty much black and white. You know, we talk about the two basic laws of psychology. You become what you think about. So it's really important to read good, positive material and not get into all the crap that you can, that in the bookstore or online. Try to stick to really positive and, positive things. And the other rule of the other law of psychology is you become who you surround yourself with. So I really got problems over here today. At any rate, only kidding. Dry humor.
Yeah.
Brent's a dry humor guy, but he always tries to outdo me, or I try to outdo him. But his father is the best, man. I haven't met him yet, but from what I understand, he was like some kind of comedian. He was like a stand-up comic for how many years? 40, 50 years.
Yep.
And made a living at it. That was his full-time job.
Yep.
Man, wouldn't that be cool?
I think so. I don't know. I think he liked it. Yes.
He must have liked it, huh? To stay with it all those years.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, guys, the bottom line is, you just got to follow your own lead, follow your heart, And if you try something and it doesn't work, you can pretty well figure that you need to pick yourself back up, brush yourself off, and try again. And look for other sources. Look for other sources. Look over the resources to help you to figure out solutions. This is kind of how I look at life every day. It's like, I know I've got issues I've got to deal with, so I'm going to pour a lot of energy into finding solutions to whatever that problem is. Maybe it's my next door neighbor that keeps me up all night because he's got a girlfriend and they like to party and dance and play loud music, which I've been through that. Maybe it's you've got a financial problem. I've been through that. Maybe you've got a girlfriend, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're driving you crazy, or they're cheating on you, or they're you don't feel right about them. You don't feel good about them anymore. Whatever it is, guys, that's bothering you, you have to hit it head on. You can't sweep it under the carpet. You can't delay it. You have to deal with it right now. And that means studying. Sometimes I just go on Google and I'll type in what it is that I'm concerned about, and I'll get a lot of different answers. And then maybe I'll start delving into it further. Or maybe I'll call somebody that's smarter than I am, then say, hey, I want to give you this story, and I want to see what you think about this. What's your advice? And that doesn't mean I have to take the advice. Right. But, you got to hit stuff head on, guys. You can't delay. Can't kick the can down the road.
I think if you do kick that can and you do delay, that causes undue stress and pressure and sometimes depression. So, being a good problem solver, understanding that, like you said, Ron, there's going to be challenges all the time, knowing that you're just going to be faced with these every single day.
Yes.
Take them head on, just like you said.
I came up with this silly analogy, but I read it to him. I wrote it down. I read it to myself. I thought, this sounds pretty cool. I think life is like a dodgeball game. And by the way, when I was a kid, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, man, I was the best dodgeball player in the world. People could not hit me with the ball.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like they didn't know what to do with me. I mean, I was like, it was crazy because I've never been an athlete, I mean, the last 10 years I've been doing martial arts, I guess I've had to learn to become one, but, I've never been that guy. But when I was a kid, I guess I was a little bit more athletic than I remembered. But I thought about this and I said to myself, life's like a big dodgeball game. It's like whoever can dodge the ball the best wins. And if you think about it, all day long we're getting these balls thrown at us, right? And we're trying to dodge. And isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. I thought you were going to say life is like a box of chocolates, but
I thought about that one.
But
that was in the movie with Tom Hanks,
yes.
Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Life is like a box of chocolates and you never know what you're going to get.
That's right.
Yeah. Sally Fields.
Yes.
Who was Burt Reynolds' lover for years, by the way.
Yes.
Years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Another story, another time. I saw a trailer on TikTok today that said, what was The Shining 2? That was Jack Nicholson. Mm-hmm. Or is that just like a spoof? Because he's not even acting anymore.
There's a lot of...
There's an AI or something that they use.
There's a lot of AI spoofs that are going on the internet right now, so it's hard to believe really a lot of what you see on social media, things like that. But
crazy.
Yeah.
One of my subscribers said this, and I mentioned this to Brent earlier today, and I appreciate what you've said. She said, Ron, when I get really depressed and really down, I open up your YouTube channel, listen to some podcasts, and then I'm ready to go again. I get back up again. And that's another example, though, of it's the idea that you become what you put in your head. You become what you think about. You become who you surround yourself with. So if you want to look for positive, if you want to improve yourself in a positive way, be around positiveness. And hopefully our podcasts supply some of that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of
because we're crazy.
We are crazy.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting on the medical front. There's a company called Ezra, EZRA Scan, and for like $2,000 or $3,000 or they can do this scan, and it takes like hundreds of different images of everything. I mean, like it's not just like a normal scan. It's in one of those MRI machines, right? Only this thing's different. It's like for people that are claustrophobic, it's open. and it gives you like it'll help. I say what they say. It will give you like information if you might have if you have cancer that otherwise wouldn't have been found.
Wow.
I find that interesting. And it's a growing company. There's only like maybe 5 or 10 locations that offer this. Hell, the machine probably costs millions. You could sense that when you see it in this video. It was on either on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram. I saw the video. Ezra Scan. Thought that was interesting. So technology more and more is helping people in a lot of different ways. Any breaking news?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Well, in Denmark, a man is suspected of 86 counts of reckless driving.
Oh my gosh.
He filmed it himself.
What?
It says he faces 86 counts of charges Friday for driving at a high speed on motorcycles, riding on the rear wheel, also at a high speed, endangering others. And the man had mounted a camera on his motorcycle helmet that provided investigators with several hours of footage of how he drove. And then he posted it on social media. So he probably wouldn't have gotten caught if he wouldn't have posted it on social media. But he shouldn't have done it to begin with. But he provided the information the police needed himself.
Oh my goodness. What my brother used to say, what is the world coming to?
Yeah. And then, this might make you hungry. I'm just going to say it out loud.
Okay.
Today, you ready for this?
Yeah.
National Cheeseburger Day.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have one.
That's what's up.
Yeah, today is National Cheeseburger Day.
Well, speaking of cheeseburgers, the best burgers in the world is the In-N-Out burgers. Every time I go to Las Vegas, man, that's like one of my first destinations. Or it's the destination I go to when I'm looking to reward myself.
What does In-N-Out mean?
Well, back in the day, yeah. This goes back to like the 30s. It's an old company. But they are so busy. And they only make like 4 or 5 products. It's like burgers and fries and drinks, and I think that's it. I can't remember. It's just a real small menu, but they're packed all the time. In fact, I remember driving by on my way to the airport, and just on one of the locations, I mean, they're just like Chick-fil-A does it too. They're standing in line, and they have people standing literally. I mean, they're in line in their cars, and people are like taking their orders like by the drive-through window, or not by the window, but by the speaker. I mean, it's like long lines. Crazy.
Wow.
In fact, I was so impressed, I think I took some back on the airplane, and yeah, I've never had a burger that good. They're not like, it's not like it's extraordinary the way they make it, but it's just so tasty. I don't know what they put in it, but anyway, so much for that. I got one cool story, and then we'll get out of here.
All right.
One of my coaches, Coach Ephraim, who did a podcast with us not too long ago, he was in a church service. This is a weird story, but happened. And a guy jumps up and decides he's going to stab one of the church members.
What?
So he's zigzagging through the church over the pews, and he gets to the guy and he stabs him right up by the neck, very close to the artery. Could have killed him, but he lived. But so my coach Ephraim, he grabbed him from behind and was able to secure him and pulled his arms in it. So he secured the knife, so the guy couldn't hurt it, because he thought he was going to hurt some more people. And the guy tried to move, and Ephraim says, "Don't move, man." He said, I will choke you out. I will put you to sleep." And he would have too. And the guy said, okay, man. So they called the police. Police come and take him to jail and all that. But that's another example of why it's really important to learn some self-defense, because you never know. That came out of the blue in a church.
Yeah.
How about that story?
Oh, wow. So
one of my coaches in the gym, what a hero.
Yeah.
Didn't even hesitate. So that shows you what training will help you to do, because when you train so much in close quarters like we do, you sort of desensitize to struggle.
Well,
and you just go into action.
Yeah.
You just go into action. So thank God he did, or else who knows, could have been a bloodbath in that church.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Any closing thoughts?
No.
No.
Good job.
All right. Well, that be the case. I'll say.
I did want to say something.
You do?
Yeah. You had mentioned last week that you had your shoes for a long time and they were still doing great.
Yes.
I could see the bottom of them when I watched the podcast back, and they're getting kind of worn.
Are they getting kind of worn?
Yeah, the bottoms are getting kind of smooth, so you may have to get some new shoes.
You know what? They seem to serve
just wanted
the
to bring that
purpose,
up.
though. I don't know. My mother was very conservative. I think I've taken some of that from her. I just don't. I guess I just, until they get holes in them or something, I'll probably keep them.
Well, the tread's pretty thin. You may not be able to run as fast.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I may take your advice. Well, guys, that be the case. Just remember this. If you don't give up, and, we talk about it all the time, man, you should never even consider that. Most success stories really come from people that just stay the course and go through struggle after struggle after struggle after failure after failure after failure, and they just keep in the game. They keep throwing their hat in the ring. They don't give up. You can't give up. You just have to suffer sometimes. When I quit smoking cigarettes, I had to suffer, but the reward was wonderful. Now I can breathe again, and even in my old age, I'm able to be very active and do things that I never thought I could do at this age. But if you continue to smoke, man, it ain't going to happen that way. You might get lucky. Every once in a while, you read a story about somebody that's, made it to 100 years and they smoke 3 packs a day. But that's rare. That's not average.
Yeah.
Trust me, you don't want to smoke or do drugs. Or if you drink, drink a little bit, maybe sometimes. But if you've got an alcohol problem, you got to quit. I used to take pills, and I got into a habit, and I found I had to quit because, it's going to kill you. It's going to take you out. So the bottom line is, don't ever give up, guys. And if you stay the course and you don't give up, eventually, sooner or later, those stars, they're going to probably start lining up. I can't tell you when. I can't tell you how fast. But I tell you out of my own experience, it will get better, and they will start to line up. And sometimes it's incredible what can happen. But even if that doesn't happen that way, and you just get better and you progress, it's still worth the idea of going through the struggle, going through the uncomfortableness to get to where you're trying to get to. And if you don't get there, just keep resetting the goal. Don't fret. Just keep resetting the goal. Keep resetting the goal. Keep resetting the goal. Just keep working and working and working and working, and you'll be surprised of how far you can go. So until that time comes, guys, stay positive, stay motivated, stay ambitious, and be kind to other people. See you next time.